Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us on day 4 of our 7-day Bhagavad Gita online course. For those of you who haven't caught up, you can find day 1, 2, and 3 on this YouTube channel. So before we begin, I'd like to offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of my beloved Guru Pada Padma, Nityalapa Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad, Paramhamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Shishimad Bhakti Vedant Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and also my obeisances unto the lotus feet of Nityalapa Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad, Paramhamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Shishimad Bhakti Vedant Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada, and all the Rupa Nuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. Then I would like to offer my obeisances unto all of you, those of you who are watching this YouTube video, and those of you who in the future may watch this video, Yatha Yogya Pranam. So in our previous classes, we have learned about the first approximately 8 to 10 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And in the last class, we introduced the path of Bhakti Yoga. Because after describing Karma Yoga in the first 6 chapters, Krishna then moves on to the best of the best, the cream of the Oreo sandwich, the crux of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the path of Bhakti Yoga. And we learned that there are 3 aspects of Bhakti Yoga, that is Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. Now, if you don't remember what that means that we have to know the 3 aspects for any goal. The beginning aspect, which is what is our relationship with God, what is our relationship with Krishna, what is the process by which that we can reach Him there, and what is ultimately the goal, right? And we discussed these 2 first topics in our last class. That who is Krishna? Who is He and what is His nature? What does He like to do? What are His activities? What is the mood that He has in His heart? And we also learned that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the best process amongst all the processes or all the paths is Bhakti Yoga. So we learned about the process of Bhakti Yoga or the Abhidheya that we should follow. That is, we learned about the 9 limbs of Bhakti, for example. We learned about that chanting is the most beneficial or most powerful limb of Bhakti, and so many other aspects. And today we will discuss more on the Prayojana or the goal. And we used in the last class an example of Google Maps, that if you want to go somewhere in this world, then you need 3 things. First, you need to know where you are. Second, you need to know where you want to go. And third, you need to know the best route to get there. So, Sambandh, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. That we should know our relationship with Krishna. We should know where we stand, where are we, so that we can find out how we can get to the destination. Then we should also know very, very clearly what that destination is. And we should know the best route. Is it Karma Yoga? Is it Jnana Yoga? Or is it Bhakti Yoga? And Krishna clearly states multiple times in the Bhagavad Gita that the best, most efficient, most easiest path is Bhakti Yoga. And then, as I mentioned earlier, that chanting the names of the Lord is considered the best process in this age of Kali. And we talked about so many other processes like meditation or deity worship or yajna sacrifice. While these are all bona fide and very powerful practices, the practice of chanting, kirtan, right? Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam, Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu, smaranam pada sevanam, archanam vandanam dasyam, sakhyam atma nivedanam. These are the 9 limbs of bhakti, amongst which kirtanam, or the chanting of the names of Krishna, is the most powerful. And in this way, by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that all of these processes or all of these methods of performing bhakti are included. And this is the recommended process for the age of Kali. And now we will really discuss chapter 9 in this class today and continue on with chapter 10 and 11. And chapter 9 has a very interesting title. I wanted to highlight this because normally we don't highlight the title of each chapter. But chapter 9 is titled Rajavidya or Rajguhya Yoga. That means the king of all knowledge. Krishna begins this chapter by saying at Arjun, now I will teach you that most confidential knowledge, the best knowledge one can have, one that is reserved for those who are not envious of me. So Krishna says that there is only one characteristic one must have, one quality one must have for him to have access to this most confidential knowledge. And he says, Arjun, because you are not envious of me, therefore you are qualified to receive this most confidential knowledge. So what does envy mean? Envy means jealousy. One who has envy in the heart cannot progress on the path of bhakti. And Krishna says, envious of me. Interesting. How many of us are envious of God? Now, if we ask ourselves, most of us will say, no, I'm not envious of God. God is great. But what is Krishna saying? That we should not have enviousness towards God. That we should not try to accept ourselves as the master. And this is our nature in this material world, that we often think of ourselves as the God of our little world. Everybody has a little tiny aspect of the world. My home, my kids, my family, my car, my job. I am great. And we all think of ourselves as a little God in our little part of the world. So Krishna says, one who understands that he is not the master, he is not God, but he is a servant, right? It is stated, Jivera Suruphe Krishnera Nityadas, that if we understand our true nature, which is to be the servant of Krishna, then we can progress and understand this most confidential knowledge. So this is the prerequisite. But once we can identify ourselves, once we accept this, this confidential knowledge Krishna gives very freely. So there are many verses in Gita chapter 9 that are very important, and I would like to highlight them. In Gita chapter 9, verse 14, Krishna says, Satatam kirtayanto mam, yatantascha drida vrata, namasyantascha mam bhaktya, nitya yukta upasate. And what does this say? That Krishna is describing how the devotee, how the bhakta who follows the process of Bhakti Yoga, how he behaves. He says, Satatam, always, kirtayanto mam. He always sings the name of me. He always sings the name. He does kirtan of me, mam. Yatantascha drida vrata. With great determination and with great commitment, he performs this kirtan. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya. That doing my namaskar, doing my folding his hands in great reverence to me, namascha mam bhaktya, he becomes my devotee. Nitya yukta upasate. That always, nitya, he is performing this bhajan, this kirtan. So Krishna instructs one who follows this process of chanting my name always with great determination and faith, he progresses and understands me in full. Then Krishna says this beautiful famous verse in Gita chapter 9 verse 22, that ananyas chintayato mam ye jana paryupashate tesha nitya bhyuktanam yoga kshemya vahamyaham. And this is a very interesting, especially the last two lines actually, that one who meditates on me, one who thinks of me always, ananya, always, anya, right? All the time. Chintayanto, he's chintit, he becomes always desirous of remembering me. Then I give him what he lacks and preserve what he has. So Krishna says, by remembering me, there is no loss, no diminution, right? Previously he said, Neha Bhikramanashosti Pratyavayo Navidite. There's no loss when following this path of Bhakti Yoga. And instead, Krishna also promises that if you follow this path of Bhakti Yoga, then I will provide you whatever you lack. So he's very, very merciful. See, sometimes we wonder that, I would like to follow the path of Bhakti. I would like to perform Bhakti Yoga, but unfortunately, I'm not qualified, or I have this sinful nature, or I'm doing this sinful activity, or I don't have time, so on and so forth. So Krishna says, okay, no problem. You are lacking in some areas, But if you start this process of Bhakti Yoga, if you start the path of Bhakti Yoga, then I will provide you what you lack. And I will preserve whatever you have. So I will keep those good qualities that are already in you, and I will uplift you so that you gain all these tremendous qualities that you currently lack. So we can go with great determination and great faith that no problem, we are not perfect, that's okay. But we can go with the assurance that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is promising to Arjun, promising to us that we will get those qualities. We will get that progression if we surrender and remember him always. Now, in the few verses later in chapter 9, verse 26, there's a very beautiful, famous verse. Many of you may have heard of it. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prachati tad aham bhaktya upahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. That Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam. If one offers me a leaf or pushpa, a flower, right? If one offers me a leaf, a flower, or even just some water, a fruit, phalam means fruit. And toyam means water. That if one offers me a leaf, a flower, some fruit, or even just water, with love and devotion, then I will accept it. So this is very, very simple. Krishna is such a simple person. Many people may think, wow, Krishna, he says in the Bhagavad Gita, you should serve me. Oh, all he wants is our service. But he's saying, no, actually, I'm so simple. All you need to do is offer me a very simple leaf or just one flower, some fruit, or even if you cannot do anything, everyone in the entire world can offer just some water. But if we offer it with love and devotion, he will accept it. It is not so important what you offer, Krishna is telling. That Krishna is saying, no, I accept all of what you can offer, but I'm more caring, I care more about that you offer with love and devotion. We talked about the definition of bhakti, loving devotional service, that each of the aspects is very important. So Krishna is saying, if you offer anything to me with love and devotion, I will accept it. Now, I want to share with you a very beautiful story that is demonstrated in this picture that gives the glories of patram, leaf. Now, some may ask, well, which leaf? Is it spinach, or is it shak, or is it some other leaf? No, what he's referring to is the tulsi leaf. The tulsi leaf. And we learn from all the scriptures that if one offers any bhog or any foodstuffs to the Lord and puts a tulsi leaf on it, then the Lord accepts it. So in this beautiful picture, there's a very famous story of the queens of Dwarka, like Rukmini and Satyabhama, who were the queens of Krishna. And one day, sage Narad Muni, comes to Dwarka, and he asks the queens that, can you give me something? And the queens say, oh, we are great queens. We have so much wealth, so much prosperity, Narad. Anything you ask for, we can give you. Then Narad Muni says, can you give me Krishna? And then they said, no, Narad, anything you want. We can give you wealth, we can give you this kingdom, we can give you so much prosperity, whatever you want. But please don't ask us for our heart, which is Krishna. Then Narad Muni says, okay, fine. If you don't want to give me Krishna, can you give me something that is equal to the weight of Krishna? And of course, Rukmini and Satyabhama, they said, yes, we are very much we can easily do this. So they grab a weighing scale, and on one side they put Krishna, and on the other side, first Satyabhama comes, one of the queens of Krishna. She comes and she sits on the scale, but Krishna is heavier. So then they said, okay, let us add something. So she takes all of her diamonds, all of her gold, all of her jewelry, all of the jewels that she possesses, and she adds them to the weighing scale. But still, Krishna is more heavy. Then Rukmini comes and says, okay, fine, I will also sit on this scale. And then what happens? Krishna is still heavy. finally the queens begin to think, gosh, what is it that can weigh more than Krishna? And then finally Rukmini remembers that, oh, I will grab and I will just get one tulsi leaf, which is, you can see in this picture here, one tulsi leaf, and she takes everything off the weighing scale and places one tulsi leaf on the other side. And what happens immediately? The tulsi leaf is more heavy and balances out with Krishna. So in this story, Krishna is showing the glories of Tulsi Maharani, that even the Lord himself is very, very submissive to the devotee's mood. We talked about this in the last class, that happiness comes from service, and the Lord himself displays this by serving the devotees. He is always looking to serve the devotees. And he's always looking to glorify his devotees, one of which is Tulsi Devi. So here in this example, we can learn the glories of Tulsi Devi, and that patram pushpam phalam toyam. Patram means the leaf or Tulsi leaf. So we can take every day one vrat or one commitment that if we cannot cook, if we cannot prepare so many things, if we cannot do all these things, at least once per day, we can offer a glass of water to the Lord, simply in front of his picture or in front of the deity if it's in your temple, and place one tulsi leaf inside. And dear Lord, with love and devotion, I offer you my heart in this form of a glass of water with tulsi. So these very, very simple prayers are very powerful, and that's how we start the process of Bhakti Yoga, right? So taking this verse, we can see and understand that Krishna accepts tulsi, he accepts flowers, he accepts fruits, and he accepts water. Notice he does not accept any animals. He does not accept the flesh of any animal. And that is also demonstrated in the Mahabharata with Duryodhana. He does not accept any flesh. Krishna is not going to accept any offering of a body that comes from one of the Atmas. And we've talked about this in Karma Yoga. So now I would like to begin by talking about the goal. And I want you to think about Prayojana, or the goal, in any aspect in your material life as well, in your regular life. That when we think of the goal, we should know exactly where we want to go. We should not have a vague or a very blurry understanding of our goal. I'll give you an example. Sometimes we ask this question in the courses we do here, and many people answer, oh, I want moksha, because they have read some scriptures or they have read somewhere that the goal of life is moksha or liberation. Another person may ask, oh, I just want to be happy. If I'm happy, that is it. That is enough. Some may ask, oh, I just want material things. If I can just finish my education, or if I just get this great career or job or wealth, then I will be satisfied. So many people have different concepts of what is the goal. And Krishna says that none of these is complete. None of these is complete. They're all aspects. They're all maybe contributing to some portion of satisfaction for you, but they are temporary or they are not complete. Now let's take moksha, for example. Many people in this world believe that liberation from the cycle of birth and death is the goal. And once we achieve this removal of the cycle of birth and death, then we will be perfect. However, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states that one who strives for moksha attains moksha, but it is not complete satisfaction. So let me give this example in a story. So let's say one day you come home from work or you're coming home from school and you have a big headache. You've gone to work and you've sweat, you've toiled and you've worked so hard, your boss was yelling at you, and you come home with a headache and you're just saying, hey, I just need to take some rest. Please, can you give me one Panadol or one Tylenol and reduce my headache? and so that way I can feel better. That when one person has a headache, all they're looking for is relief from that headache. So they come home and they tell the wife, maybe the kids are screaming and yelling around the house, and they say, please, sweetheart, give me 2 Tylenol and let me go to sleep. I just need to feel a little bit better. I'm going to shut the door, turn off all the lights, take the medicine, and go to sleep. Now, after he goes to sleep, does that person feel satisfied? Yes, he is now getting relief from suffering. The headache that was bothering him is going away. But is that it? Is that sufficient? No. He also wants to wake up and now enjoy the life without the headache. He wants to play with his kids, or he wants to go out and play sports, or whatever it is, right? So simply stopping the suffering of his headache is not sufficient. This is moksha, that we think by stopping the suffering or stopping the cycle of birth and death and becoming free from it is the goal, but that is not complete. That is the negative aspect, that saying, no, I don't want to suffer anymore. But what about the positive aspect, which is, okay, I don't want to suffer, but I also want to be happy. So Krishna is saying that in the search for eternal happiness, the only way you will get eternal happiness is by the mood of service. And who should we serve? That most pure person, which is Krishna himself. So as I mentioned before, Jivera Suruphoy, Krishnera Nityadas, that the internal nature of the soul, of the Jiva, of the Atma, is that one is the servant of Krishna. And when we achieve that goal, when we achieve that nature, then we will be eternally happy. This is the positive. We'll not only stop the cycle of birth and death, but we will also engage in service, which will make us completely happy. And of course, most of us understand that material things are very temporary and do not give us complete pleasure. The same beautiful new car will give us a headache in just a few years. So what is the goal? The goal is love. The goal is understanding that I not only want to be free from the cycle of birth and death, but I want happiness from doing the path of Bhakti Yoga. Then we also want to know, why should we go there? Why should we go there? That by going through this path of Bhakti Yoga and reaching the goal of love of God, then we will become eternally happy. So here, love is the goal. Love of what? Love of Godhead. Even in the Bible it states, God is love, love is God. So when we have pure love within our heart, then we will achieve this eternal happiness. Just think about it. More than material things in our life, when we experience love and friendship in this world, it gives us a higher satisfaction. You could have $1 million, you could have a nice, beautiful house, a great sports car, fast car, whatever it is, luxury car. You could go on so many luxury vacations. You can enjoy so many material things. But if you are alone, none of that will satisfy you. When we engage in loving relationships with our friends or our family, we experience a different, higher level of happiness. But even that is temporary, Krishna is saying. So when we experience love of God, the topmost love, pure love, one that gives us complete eternal satisfaction and happiness, then there is no other feeling. So love is the goal, and we should define what is pure love. We should understand what it is. Well, we sometimes hear, from stories like Romeo and Juliet, or any other different movies, Bollywood movies, and all these kinds of things, that they show some aspects of love, but the purest love they cannot display. Why? Because that does not exist in these material relationships. The purest love is one that is unconditional. That it does not matter. It is not requiring any condition. It does not matter who that person is, if they are great or they are not great. But if we have pure love for them, it doesn't matter. We love them for who they are. For them, we love them because they are them. It does not matter. It does not have any condition. What is another aspect of pure love? That it is eternal. Or we can also say ever fresh. That means it does not go through ups and downs. It does not go through ups and downs. Today I love you, tomorrow I don't. Or today I will serve you, but if you don't serve me back, then I won't. That is a condition. And our love changes in this world. For example, a husband or a wife, let's say if the husband is cooking and the wife is working, right? That the wife comes home to the husband, and if the husband didn't make the meal, she says, oh, you are no good, have no use, right? And if the husband doesn't cook the next day or the next day, then the love declines. But this is a condition that only if that husband serves me or only if the wife serves me, then I will love them back. This is a condition. But pure love has no condition. And it is eternal. It lasts forever, regardless of any change, regardless of time, place, or circumstance. Pure love is eternal, right? So when we are looking to develop pure love, which will give us eternal happiness, that can only happen with somebody who is capable of exchanging pure love with us. And that, Krishna says, is me. Krishna says that I can exchange pure love because I have pure love within my heart for you. And if you exchange that love with me, then you will become eternally happy. And it is described in the scriptures that there are 5 main relationships that we can exchange our love with the Lord. And those are known as Shanta, Dasia, Satya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. Now, what do these mean? Shanta means a peaceful relationship, a neutral relationship with the Lord, just like one of Prahlad Maharaj. Now, if you don't know the story, that's okay. But Prahlad Maharaj is accepting that there's a Supreme Lord. He glorifies the Lord and says, "Oh Lord, I am here and you are here. You are great. You are the creator of the 3 worlds. In a snap of a finger, you can create and destroy hundreds of universes. And you are the most powerful. You are the most great. You are everything to me." And that is the mood of Prahlad Maharaj, right? Now, Dasya means servant. So Shanta means of neutral relationship, right? And Dasya means servant. And the prime example of that is Hanumanji, right? Hanumanji is always what? Serving the lotus feet of Lord Ram. You never see Hanumanji anywhere else besides doing service for Lord Ram. And he's the perfect example of Dasya mood. And you will see what is the difference. In the Shanta Ras, for example, with Prahlad Maharaj, he glorifies the Lord and puts the Lord here, and he is here. Now, in the Dasya Ras with Hanumanji, what does he think? He has a mood that, wait, the Lord, he needs me. He needs me. Without me, this service would not be complete. Prahlad Maharaj, on the other hand, says, wait, the Lord, he's so great. He has all the qualities. He's Atmaram, Atmakam. He doesn't need me. He doesn't need my service because he's complete. He already has everything. But Hanuman, he thinks, wait, Lord Ram needs my help. He needs me to go across the ocean to Lanka. He needs me to help build the bridge. He needs me to help carry him and Lakshman on his shoulders. So he's always itching to do service, always desirous to do service, because he has a mood in his heart. The Lord needs me also, and I, by doing this service, will please the Lord. So there's a tendency that I can do something for him. Now, in the next relationship is Sakya, which means friendship. Friendship. And Arjun is a very good example of the friend of Arjun, the friend of Krishna. But in this picture, I have also shown the friends of Krishna in Vrindavan. And what do the friends of Krishna think in Vrindavan? Do they see Krishna as the Supreme Lord? Do they see him as God? And do they fall at his feet and pray to him like Shanta Dasia and Dasia Dasia? No. In fact, they wrestle with him. They fight with him. Our Gurudev used to give a very nice example that they used to fight and wrestle with Krishna such that when they would wrestle and defeat Krishna, and Krishna was on the floor and they were above him, wrestling him, then they would say, look, Krishna, I am stronger than you. Even though you can defeat so many demons, I can defeat you. So I am very strong. And then Krishna would respond, oh, but you have not defeated me because my nose is facing up and your nose is facing down. So in this way, the love and the friendly relation of the Sakhas, or the friends of Krishna, was demonstrated in these pastimes. So here we have Shanta Ras that says, Lord, you are great, you are complete, you don't need anything. Then the Dasya Ras who says, wait, Lord, by my service, I can please you, I can do something for you, right? And then the Sakhya Ras, what does he think? He thinks that, wait, we are equal. We are equal. He's not Supreme Lord. He's my friend. And as my friend, I can play with him. I can share my food with him. I can do so many things interacting with him. I can even defeat him sometimes, right? This is the mood of friendship. And Krishna, as these moods increase for the devotee, becomes more and more pleased because they become more on the basis of love and less on the basis of he is God. Remember, I gave an example that love is unconditional, right? That it shouldn't have any condition. So in Sakhya, we start to notice that the friends of Krishna don't even have the condition that, oh, I am your friend, Krishna, because you are God. In fact, they don't see him as God. They love Krishna because he is their friend. He is Krishna. So whether he is God or he is not God, it doesn't matter. They still will remain his friend. See, the mood is slowly getting more and more intimate, more and more full of ras or sweetness. And then the next mood is Vatsalya, which means parent. The mood of a parent. And in our example, I've given Mother Yashoda, who is the mother of Krishna in Vrindavan. We can also take other parents, for example, Kaushalya and Dasharat of Lord Ram, or Nanda Baba, who is the father of Krishna in Vrindavan. Now, in the parent mood, what is happening? So, in the Sakhya mood, they think of themselves as equal. But in the parent mood, what does the devotee think? He or she thinks that I am superior to Krishna. I am superior to Krishna. That my Lala or my son needs me because I need to guide him. I need to nourish him. Without me, he would not get a meal to eat. Without me, he would not know how to wear his clothes. He would not know how to properly behave. Like Mother Yashoda is always worried in this picture that Krishna will become a thief by stealing butter from all of the gopis in Vrindavan. So she says, I must punish him. I must tie him to this mortar because if I don't teach him the correct behavior, he may grow up to become a thief. And as his mother, I must show him the right direction. So here the mood of Yashoda Maiya, Mother Yashoda, is completely enamored that he is my son. In fact, when Krishna, in one pastime, tries to demonstrate that he is God, he's the Supreme Lord, he eats some mud. And the cowherd boys run to Mother Yashoda and say, oh, Krishna has eaten mud. Krishna has eaten mud. Mother, please come and help him. So when she opens his mouth to check if he has mud in his mouth, then he shows Mother Yashoda the entire universe, that all of the entire universe is in his mouth. And he shows that he is the Supreme Lord. But what does Mother Yashoda think? She says, oh, some ghost or some energy must have taken over my Krishna. Something must have mesmerized him and I must remove that, we say nazar, remove the nazar that is come on Krishna. So she takes cow urine and cow dung, washes him, takes him to the Brahmins, and has them chant prayers. Even though they are worshiping the Lord, she has them chant prayers that please bless my child, that this sort of nazar or sort of evil eye does not inflict upon him. So despite the Lord trying to show her that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mother Yashoda is not ready to accept, because her love, her ras, is overwhelming, covers up her knowledge of awe and reverence. So again, one thinks that the Lord is complete, which is true, and does not need my service. The other one thinks, wait, he does need my service, and I can provide something to him that he cannot do. There's some more intimacy. Then the friend thinks, I'm equal to Krishna, and it doesn't matter if he's the Supreme Lord, he's my ultimate friend. Then the parent thinks that, oh, if it wasn't for me, then Krishna would not be behaving correctly, would not get his food, all this type of thing. So she thinks she's above Krishna. And finally, the last and final mood is Madhurya. Madhurya is the lover and beloved mood. And this is nicely demonstrated in this beautiful painting of Srimati Radhika and Krishna. That Sri Radha and the gopis of Vrindavan, they have a mood of lover and beloved with Krishna. And they have the mood of what? And you can see in this picture this perfect demonstration that Krishna, because he is controlled by love, he is wanting the love of the devotee. Then you can see here, he is actually serving Srimati Radhika. And he serves her in so many different ways, because love is God and God is love, right? That the Lord, if he has everything in this world, but there's only one thing he does not have, and that is your love. And he is desperate to get that, because he wants that love. And he wants to give you his love and exchange that with you. So in this beautiful painting and beautiful picture is the prime example of Madhurya Bhav, Madhurya Ras, or the relationship or exchange of love between a lover and beloved. And this is even more high, right? Now, if we think very intelligently, we can see that Madhurya, this mood, has all of these moods within it, right? For example, the gopis also reprimand and scold Krishna, saying, don't steal butter, don't do all these activities, don't steal my clothes. They're always reprimanding him, and they're always taking care of him. Another thing is that they're his best friend, right? They always want to serve and meet with him. And they're also his servant. They serve him too. It's an exchange, right? It's not one way. The love between the Lord and his devotee is not just one way. And of course, then they understand all of these concepts. So each mood is including the mood before it. The parent also is a friend sometimes and also serves. The friend also serves by feeding one another. So each of these moods is more and more inclusive and more elevated. So when we understand the goal, Krishna very clearly states at the end of chapter 9 and repeats this verse in chapter 18. It's almost the same verse. And he says, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhya jivam namaskuru mami vesya shishatyam te pratijanme priyosime. That, O Arjun, O my dear devotee, engage your mind in me, right? Engage your mind in me. Worship me with great devotion. Worship me with all of your heart. And in this way, you will achieve me. That always keep your mind on me, manmana, and become my devotee. If you cannot always remember me, at least become my devotee. So manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji namaskuru. That Krishna is saying the highest and best stage is if one constantly remembers me. That is manmana. And how can one do that? By developing love for Krishna, by developing your heart of pure love. But if you cannot do that, at least become my devotee. At least become my devotee. Madhya jivam namaskuru. And then if you cannot do that, finally, okay, I cannot do all of these things, Krishna. At least can you do namaskar? Can you fold your hands in prayer to me? Madhya jivam namaskuru. Mami veshashi satyam te pati janme priyosime. In this way, you will eventually come to me. So Krishna is giving, okay, whichever step you are, whether you're here, whether you're here, whether you're here, or whether you're here, no problem. But eventually, you should set your goal to manmana, that constantly remember me. Our Srila Prabhupada used to give a very beautiful instruction that the goal of the devotee, the Prayojana, is always remember Krishna and never, what? Never forget him. That if we can follow this simple formula, then we will eventually reach our goal. So this is the Prayojana, manmana bhavmad bhakt, manmana, that keep your mind engaged in me. That is, always remember me and never forget him. So by following the process of kirtan, chanting the names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then our heart, our mind, everything will become cleansed, and we will constantly remember Krishna at all times. Okay? You can do your work, you can engage in all of the activities that you need to do, but if we simply add Krishna to them, then if we remember Krishna during these activities, remember Krishna before we do any activity, then this will gradually lead to the cleansing of our heart and get us to this Prayojana. So remember, in the Google Maps example, when we set our destination, that manmana, I want to have this relationship with the Lord. I want to develop pure love, which is unconditional and eternal, right? Then it doesn't matter where you are. If you want to go to the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and you set that exact destination, it does not matter where you are in the world. You could be in India, you could be in Europe, you could be in anywhere in Canada, or you can be in another state in the United States. Anywhere you put from, if you set your destination, the process and the route is given. Similarly, Krishna says, okay, manmana bhavamad bhakto. If you cannot do this, which is the topmost stage, at least become my devotee. And if you cannot do that, then at least do prayers unto me, right? Do namaskar. At least fold your hands. Acknowledge me. Understand who I am. So as we gradually go up in this staircase, Krishna says, Yeyatam mam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyam, that I will reciprocate with you. And then he also says, in very, very famous verses, this is known as Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita, that aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha, that I am the source of everything. Everything emanates from me. And those who worship me with love and devotion, they come to me, right? So he's giving some indication, sambandha, who am I, right? We learn who is he. Yes, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord, the one and only Supreme Lord God. And then he says, Matchitta matkata prana bhodayantas parasparam kathayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That one who understands that I am the Supreme Lord, then he will keep me within his heart. Matchit matkata prana bodhayantas parasparam. That always he is discussing my glories. Kathayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That I am one who is devoted to me discusses my glories always, chants my name and remembers me. Then in the third verse of the Chatur Shloki Gita, Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. That one who engages in my devotional service, always Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam, with love and devotion, then dadami buddhi yogam tam, I will give him the knowledge and instruction for yena mam upayantite, for him to reach me. And then in the 4th verse of the Chaturshloki Gita, Krishna says, Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayam atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhashvataha. That out of compassion for the living entities in this world, when they engage in the process of Bhakti Yoga to me, I, dwelling in their heart as Paramatma, give them the light of knowledge and remove the darkness of ignorance. So Krishna is saying, wherever you are, it doesn't matter where you are, I will guide you, I will provide you with that knowledge, with the direction, and with whatever you don't have. So just like in the Google Maps example, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If your destination is set perfectly, then you can be in India, you could be in America, you could be in Europe or Canada or Africa, anywhere in the world. If you set your destination, then it will give you the route to get to it. Now, whether that takes a plane or whether that takes a car, those are all different methods of transportation. But it will give you the best, most efficient route, and that is what Krishna is saying. That if you start this process of Bhakti Yoga, then I will give you the direction by which you will reach this final goal, Prayojana, which is Manmana. So, if we have this confidence, then we can move forward. Now, another aspect that Krishna is describing, that what will I do when I reach my goal, right? Many people in this material world, the way things work when we reach our goal is that once we reach our goal, it becomes complete or the end, right? Let's say I want to build a bridge, then I go get all the materials, I construct the bridge, and once that bridge is complete, I'm done, wash my hands, and I'm free. Or in another example, when we are looking to get a degree in college, I understand I need to go to college, I need to study, I need to work hard, and then finally when I get my degree, I never go back to that college again. But in the process of Bhakti Yoga, there is no the end, there is no check mark, there is no everything becomes nothing again, right? Let's remove that concept from our heart that once we reach perfection, that's it, I'm done, everything is over. In fact, our Srila Prabhupada used to say that there is one rule, always remember Krishna, right? We talked about that in that last class. So what? When we reach the end or reach the goal of developing pure love of Godhead, is that it? Do we just stop remembering Krishna and stop remembering God? No, Krishna says that one who thinks of me, in the Bhagavad Gita, one who thinks of me at the time of death, or one who remembers me throughout his life, reaches me and comes to my abode. But what happens when they go to their abode? What happens when we go to Krishna's abode? Then, just like in this pictures of all of these devotees, the service continues. Because that service is the source of our eternal happiness, is the source of our pleasure. So why would we want to stop? In fact, isn't it amazing that we retain our individual identity in the spiritual world? It's not that we merge all together or we go to moksha and liberation and we attain a state of nirvana and just sit there for the rest of our life. No, in fact, we are engaging in service in the spiritual world. This is what these devotees are demonstrating, right? Does Hanuman stop his service to Lord Ram ever just because he defeats Ravan and Lanka is complete? No, he begins a new service again because that's his pleasure. Do the friends of Krishna stop playing with him as they grow? No. Does Mother Yashoda stop loving her son once he grows up? No. Right? Does Srimati Radhika not exchange love with Krishna and remember him in her heart always? No. She doesn't stop. In fact, when we reach that goal, that developing that pure love within our heart, then we can actually reach that pure service in the mood of those rasas or those 5 moods I discussed earlier. That when we have pure love and reach the goal, then our pure service begins. And this will give us that eternal happiness. Okay? So this happiness, Krishna is promising, it actually always is increasing. Isn't that the nature of pure love? That it's eternal, ever fresh, always feels new. Like sometimes if we love someone, for the first beginning time, we may feel more attraction to them, but as we get used to them, then our love declines. But no, in the spiritual world, in the exchange of pure love with the devotees, the Lord and the devotees always feel that it is constantly increasing and always feels new, always feels ever fresh. This is the beauty of the transcendental love that is exchanged with Krishna. So finally, when we are learning about Prayojana, the essence is that we should know the exact address where we want to go. We should not have a blurry goal in mind. We should know exactly where we want to go. We should take this understanding that I want to develop pure love of Godhead. And I want to develop a relationship with the Supreme Lord. I want to have a mood of intimacy and affection towards Him, and one that results in service that is always there, right? And finally, the last statement we would like to make in this class for today is that bhakti comes from bhakti. Now, what do I mean by that? That when we want bhakti in our heart, then we can only get it from another person who has bhakti. And I wrote here, find a millionaire. So I want to give you one very simple example. Let's say you are a beggar on the street, right? You're a beggar on the street, and all you want is $10 or 10 rupees, right? Now, if you are an intelligent beggar, will you go to another beggar for $10? No, absolutely not. Because they themselves do not have that $10 to give you. But if you approach a millionaire, then you can easily get that $10. They will very easily give that to you because it is just so easy for them. They're full of that wealth. Similarly, when we want bhakti, if we approach a person, a devotee, a Shuddha Bhakta, a pure devotee, who has what? Bhakti in his heart, bhakti in her heart, that the true wealth of that person is bhakti, then they can easily give it to us. So we don't get bhakti from anywhere else except from someone who has bhakti. That is why Krishna instructs, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. That Arjun, you should approach a spiritual master. You should approach a guru, a pure devotee who can clear your doubts. You ask him questions, do it with the mood of service. When we ask these questions in the mood of service and we offer our services to them, what will they do? They will be so generous and give their wealth to you. What wealth? Is it $10? Is it 10 rupees or $100? No. What is the wealth of a devotee? The wealth of a devotee is bhakti. That is their true wealth within their heart. So when we serve the devotees of the Lord becomes more pleased than if we serve the Lord directly. And the devotee can give us bhakti within our heart. Now, many people can ask this question. Wait, Krishna, He's the Supreme Lord, right? He's God. He has everything in Him. But my question to you, and think about this carefully, is, does Krishna have bhakti? Does Krishna have bhakti? Right? He has everything, but does He have bhakti? And if He has bhakti, can He give it to us? So many people will answer yes, He's God, He has everything. But actually, Krishna very clearly explains in Bhagavad Gita that the only thing that I don't have is bhakti, and this is why I want it from my devotee. Right? That only the bhaktas, the devotees of the Lord, have bhakti. Because Krishna promises that I will never interfere or force you to love me. I will never come to you. I will never sit on your shoulder or come to your home or tell you that you should do bhakti to me. I will never force you. And if you don't do it, then I will punish you. He never says this. He's simply standing in the temple, standing on the altar in his three-bended form with the flute, and he's patiently smiling and waiting for what? Waiting for you to come to him, right? So when we associate with the bhaktas, they are actually the ones that provide us the inspiration. When we search for a guru, then we take the shelter of guru. They will be the guider. They will be the driver of the car. They will be the boatman. There's a beautiful bhajan, Harinama Nauka Khani, Shri Guru Kandari. That the names of the Lord are the boat by which we can cross this ocean of the material world. But who is the captain of that boat? That is Shri Guru. So by understanding that bhaktas are the ones with bhakti, bhaktas have bhakti in their heart, and if we serve them, then they give us this bhakti. So if we really want bhakti, one of the first steps, one of the most important things we must do is approach a sadhu, approach those devotees and ask them questions and perform service to them. And so if, and I will end here, if one is very intelligent, the most intelligent person will ask only one thing from the Supreme Lord. He's not going to ask, "Oh Lord, give me material things. Oh Lord, give me happiness. Oh Lord, give me you." He will not ask that. Instead, the most beautiful prayer, the most advanced, the highest prayer, what will he ask? That please, Lord, please, Krishna, please, Prabhu, give me the association of those devotees who have pure love within their heart. So if we sincerely ask this prayer from the Lord, sincerely make it our innermost desire, that Prabhu, please give me the shelter of your Shuddha Rasika Bhakta, one who is full of ras and mood and flavor and love within their heart. Please give me that association. Then you will see very, very quickly that Krishna becomes very pleased with this and gives you that. So if we pray in this manner, that is the ultimate prayer, that we always have the association of the devotees, because they will take us on this path of Bhakti Yoga. So with that, we'd like to finish here. And in our next class, we will discuss chapters 11, 12, 13, 14, that when Krishna displays his universal form to Arjun, Virat Roop to Arjun, and he also describes the material nature or the nature of this world, the nature of knowledge and consciousness. So that is our next class. Thank you very much for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Again, if you've made it to day 4, I very much appreciate it. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. If I have made any mistake, please forgive me and please shower your mercy upon me. And if anything good has come, it is only because I'm repeating the word of Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, and the devotees of the Lord. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.